pretty hilarious.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. It's because you rented the studio and you broke everything.
What an idiot.
RTI.
That'll be us then, RTI Radio Tetris International on a Friday afternoon. Don't ask why. That's right, Hugh. We're here already. He's moving his mic around. She's sitting there lolloping about in her PJs.
Lolloping?
Lolloping about. It's
Rachel.
nice to have a lollop. Haven't you had a lollop lately, Rach?
That's all I've been doing lately.
Yeah, you've been doing sitting around. Before we talk to Rach, we're going to say some hellos. Hello to Hugh in New York, New York. It says, Happy Friday, Eric and company. Happy Friday, Hugh. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
He says, sing it, baby. That was my singing earlier. Don't worry about it. And as always, Hugh's invited all of his friends and family to come and join us as well. Nice to have you with us. Hi to Luna, to Sarah, to Missy, to Basildon. No, Bastian. No, I don't know. Oh, sorry, mate. Tonya and Ruben. And who else have we got in here? Sprint. We've got so many. It's hard to... Sarah. Could be your Sarah.
She's in the Philippines.
Oh, is she?
So she says.
Brian English is with us as well.
Hello, Mr. English.
Steve Mann's with us as well. First one on Facebook, as always. Hello. Lee had broken everything, and I thought you weren't going to be able to get on. Steve says, hello, Rachel.
Hello, Rachel.
Glad to know.
Hello, Steve.
Glad to know sanity has returned to the show.
Yeah, right.
Well, just for a minute.
Just for a minute.
Yeah, the great lollop.
Just for a minute.
She's going to go lolloping again.
Go on, do a lollop for us.
There's more lolloping to be done.
Lollop.
Lollop.
I haven't heard lollop for years, and I thought, I've got to bring another word back.
Yeah. That's somebody ringing our bell. Do we answer
it? A good one.
Yes.
Do we know who it is?
No. Lee's going to be security because he's bigger. Well,
Just let them in. I can knock them out.
If they're paying money, yes. People want to come in the studio. Gosh. Jesse says, hi, all. Mitchell says, hello. Well, it's actually Michelle. Michelle. Anyway, Rach, tell me all about the house hunting.
Oh, goodness. Well, Robbie and I went off to the lovely part of the grass near the snow.
Can you do this in English or Australian? Because people won't be following this.
Oh, yes. Would you want me to do it in English?
Yeah, that'll do.
Okay. Robbie and I went 4 weeks ago, went to a part of the world where we have, I know you're all going to laugh, we've got Alps. And they're not sort of Alps, they're more like Alp, singular. But it's a lovely part of the world, and it's ski fields are there and so forth. It's about 4 hours drive from where we live here in Melbourne. And we were looking for a patch of grass to buy and call our own and then build a house on.
All right.
And we have found said block. There's a few little minor complications, but that's all right. We've figured out how to get over those.
Yeah.
So at some stage for the next 12 months, we'll make a real big deal with getting the land and also having a farmer come on board and so forth. And then we'll build the house, and that'll be a nice slow process. So we'll be probably out there in the next 5 years, I dare say.
Yeah, but Rach, this sounds like it's in the middle of nowhere.
It really is. It's in it. Do you know what the name of the place is?
No.
Smoko.
Smoko.
Now let me.
But Rach.
Yes.
Rach,
yes.
I'm crying.
Oh, don't
Why?
Well, because if it's in the middle of nowhere in Australia, the interweb won't be fast enough to get there.
But we will have big satellites on our roofs, and it'll be all right.
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness.
We don't live anywhere we can't get the internets. We don't live anywhere the interwebs can't be.
Oh, okay then.
So
I thought you couldn't get it in parts of Australia.
You can't, but yeah, and in some places you have to have special satellite
Special
hooked up to your house.
satellite.
Like hooked up to your house. So
No,
you
it's
can reach
a special satellite dish that sends and receives signals. Doesn't just receive them; it sends them.
sends them as well. So we'll get that, and that's okay.
It's all right, Rach. That just went over his head. Don't worry about it.
It was like a Sputnik.
Yeah.
But it's a satellite that went over his head. It's okay.
Yeah,
but
all right.
the name of the place is called Smoko, and
Spoko.
the reason why that's
Smoko.
Yeah, the reason why that's significant, and you probably know this, when you have your break at work, it's often called Smoko.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And so this is the whole reason why I want to live in Smoko. So people can say, "Oh, where did Rach go? Oh, she went to Smoko. Oh, how long for? Ever."
There should be one there for Rob called Drinko.
Drinko. Well, that's it, and there will be. But I tell you what, there's none for Rach. No Smokos for Rach because Rach stopped the Smoko.
Yes, very good
Rach
girl.
stopped
Good
that
one, yeah.
a few months back. And
Steve's
Robbie,
being all scientific. Said, "Is that KA band?" Yes, Steve.
No, KY
Yes.
Jelly.
oh, that's for the evening.
Yeah.
Ah, Rachel's back.
Rach is back. Toilet humour resumed, as normal service will be.
Well, in the next 4 weeks from now, Robbie's staying home with me, and he's going to stop smoking too, which is a big deal.
Good on him.
Because Robbie's a heavy smoker, but he's decided it's time, and good on him. And he'll have my support every step of the way.
Ah, nice one. I don't know. I'm not going to give a radio station a plug. Anyway, somebody from a radio station studio is looking at the back of our studio on Facebook and going, "Jameson's? Yes, I've got a big bottle of Jameson's, a gallon bottle in the studio." Rachel, tell you, it's there.
Yeah,
Huge, great
It
bottle.
is there. It says in emergency break glass.
Yeah, that's the one. Hang on. Duke's got a joke for you.
Oh, no.
A gymnast walks into a bar. He gets a 2-pint deduction and ruins his chances of a medal.
Dude, that wasn't funny. That just wasn't, unless it was his delivery.
Yeah. And Duke also says, "Lovely to hear the trio back on the airways on this lovely Friday." That's nice.
Well, thank you.
That's lovely, but your joke was rubbish.
Honestly, I don't want to get everybody's hopes up too highly at this point.
No.
But I've got stuff for the last 4 weeks. I've been doing things, but I've also been prolifically writing to the point where I can't actually stop. I think I might have a disease for the Consumer Watch Foundation. So, but I haven't sent it to Uncle Lee yet because I don't want to do it in bits. I'm going to send him the whole thing, and then he can carve it up like a Christmas turkey.
Right.
Which will be very nice, into segments. But then I'll be back. I will be back. But on Tuesday, I have to go for a surgery that's a major surgery.
Yeah.
And I will be recuperating for the next 4-ish weeks after that.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I get back on my feet...
Yeah, right. Can I just quantification on this one without giving anything away? It's not a life-threatening operation. It is a life extension operation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll feel all the better for it. And it's a routine. It's a big surgery, but it's a routine surgery, so I'm not worried about it too much.
Yeah.
I really am not. It's just I'm more worried about the recuperation, but that's why Robbie's having 4 weeks off so he can take care of me, which is very nice.
Yeah, that's good.
After
good.
that,
No, and the thing
when
is,
I
you're
get
going to
on my
feel
feet,
better, aren't you?
Yeah, you'll feel a lot better.
I'm going to feel a lot better for a lot of reasons. Without sort of going into all the gory details. I will be my old self.
Yeah, no details, darling. Medical faint.
What?
Message for the boys of Melbourne. Watch out. In 5 weeks' time, she'll be chasing every one of you down the street and slapping you on the bum because she'll have all of her energy back.
I will. And so just be careful. Don't run on this street if you don't want to be slapped on the bum.
That's right.
That's my community. That's my community announcement. But after that, when I feel all better,
yes,
we're having a conversation about me returning to post at Postcard, Poprad, as I should have been installed in the first place. But I made the decision to have a little bit of a rest.
Good luck for your operation. I wish you a speedy recovery. Someone needs to keep these two in order.
There's 3 of us.
Yeah!
Who's just appeared?
Yeah, Stefan's just come in as well.
Hi, everybody. How, Rachel? How are you doing?
Hi, Stefan. I'm all right. I'm good.
Rachel is now
How
known
are you?
as the slapper of Adelaide.
Ian says to us two, hinge and bracket on the wireless again. Must be time for my extended Friday lunch break. You're quite right there, but hang on, which one's hinge and which one's bracket, though, Ian?
Well, I'm unhinged.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you in the bracket.
The ladies were lovely, you know.
The ladies will love.
They will.
Oh,
no,
yes.
no, the ladies were lovely.
They were lovely. I knew them. They used to live in Acton Trussell, which was just round the corner from me.
Shall we get Paul on here one day?
Who's Paul?
Paul is the...
He's the one who lived in Acton Trussell. Get him in. We've got loads to talk about. We used to drink in the same pub.
He was and is a truck driver and also the honorary chair of the Hinge and Bracket Society in the United
We
Kingdom.
could get him to sit in.
And he used to be on a certain radio station in London, which I was on every week, talking about Hinge and Bracket.
They were lovely. There
Those
was
are
one of them
ladies.
lived in Acton. Come on, to anybody out there who remembers Injun Bracket, which one lived in Acton Trussell, just outside that
They're only
godforsaken
going to
place
Google
called
it, aren't they?
Don't Google it, be honest.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No, I know.
Our audience for crying out loud. So, anyway, you're going to destroy the medical system. Now,
You're
don't...
gonna
Now,
be a
Rach,
slapper in Adelaide.
Rach. Now, can you just remember one of my guidelines to hospital?
Don't
Okay.
go.
Are you ready?
Yes.
When the doctor and nurses are being pillocks, what you
Yes.
say to them is this: "Hello,
Yes.
you understand that I pay into the insurance scheme, that money then is transferred to the hospital, yes? Yes. The hospital in turn pays you, yes? Yes. Therefore, I am your boss, do as you're blinking told."
Very
Well, there's
true,
that
very true.
approach.
You use the word pillock.
My
Are you saying
my
doctors
approach,
are the
I
pillocks
love
of society?
Felix. That's a great word. No, but my approach is this. Yes, I feel great. Yes, I feel terrific. Yes, you're wonderful. Can I go home now?
Oh no, I do it the other way. It
Well,
was
see,
really
if
weird.
I'm really nice and I behave myself, I can go home. Probably
me, Rach,
after
you're really
only about
quiet.
2 days.
Yeah, they do have.
Have I?
Yeah.
I can't hear her.
Can't you?
Have I gone quiet?
Can you hear her? We can't hear Rach.
Huh?
Rach, you've only
How's
got an
that?
audience of one.
Is that? Can you hear? Hang on, I'll shut up. Go on, Rach.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Bit.
Oh, I'll turn
bit?
her up then for you.
Thank you very much.
you
I
go.
spoke all
Yeah,
over her because I
right.
couldn't hear her.
Yes, they do have a kind of NHS in Australia. Yes, they do. Kind of.
They do. Well, I'm going completely private, so it's this is where you get the the luxury plus service, which is fine. But if I know how these things go. So if I'm a good girl and I'm doing everything they ask me to and doing it without pain and grimacing and being good, I know that they will let me out. They probably will let me out of hospital the next day. They may well let me out the next day.
Yeah, I actually blew it last time, Rach.
Excuse me.
I blew it completely. Wrecked the whole thing. Because the doctor came in. What it was sometimes here we get the winds from, I think it's the Sahara Desert, maybe Stefan knows, when the dust comes here. It's the
Sahara Desert.
Yes, the Sahara Desert. And Rachel, why are you breathing so heavy?
I think it's very sexy.
You told me to get up close.
Oh, okay,
is
and
that too
personal.
much?
Yeah, I think it was. I've got 2 indentations. That's how close it is.
Oh.
Anyway, apparently, according to Paul Rustling, Rachel is loud and clear. Give her my best. I've just done that.
Oh, thanks,
I
Paul.
think that's down to Robbie to give her your best.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, not after this particular surgery. Let's not talk about that.
no, let's not go there. Anyway, so what happened was he started talking to me in English, and I knew that it was the dust cloud, and I'd had a sort of half asthma attack thing because my chest was tight. And they were insisting I had a heart attack, which I didn't. So they send the heart doctor round, and off he goes, and he's going blah, blah, blah in English. Then he turns to the students and starts talking in Slovak about what they're going to do to me the next day. And I went, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I then exchanged the comments I gave to you about who the boss was in front of all the student doctors that are now giggling at the professor, thinking he's a bit of a numpty, and then proceeded to say, no, it's not. It was an partial asthma attack. I'm going home. Don't worry about it.
That was in rewinding.
That was Paul telling a really bad racist joke, and I'm not going to read it out. Anyway, so I then went home because I knew what the problem was, and
Can I tell my hospital story now?
if you would like to.
Well, I went to.
Hang on, let's just find out. Have you got a hospital story,
Have you got a
Stefan?
hospital story, Stefan?
Yes, of course I do.
Oh, well, then we'll go.
Yeah,
We've done Rach, Eric, Lee, Stefan. Yeah.
I
Have we
went.
been doing any news this week?
No.
Shall I keep interrupting you?
Yes. So I went to hospital, and I went to see not a surgeon but a doctory person, and I said, "Doctor," and he said, "What?" I said, I have very, very bad wind," and he said, "Rectum." I said, "Rectum." I nearly blew him off.
Do breathe in, Susanna.
Don't pretend, Susanna. Did you hear me joke? Did you laugh because nobody else did?
No, she would have understood
did.
it, but wouldn't laugh. Anyway, how ça marche, Susanna? Mange a bit. Okay. This is turning into an episode of Casualty. I quite agree with
It
you.
is. It's got to tell Stefan's story.
Yeah, where's Stefan's story?
Oh, okay. I woke up after my surgery and doctor was in a room.
What surgery did you have?
I don't want to go into details, but
Upstairs or downstairs?
downstairs.
Hey!
Hey!
Okay, it's funny. Yeah, even
Stefan's not going to.
okay. Anyway,
Stefan's not going to get this, but this is turning into a Brian Ricks farce.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I agree, Rach.
so doctor was by my bed and he was asking how I feel. So I told him that I feel like somebody punched me in my stomach and kicked me between my legs.
Yes.
Yeah, and he stood still for a moment. And yeah, that's adequate to your situation.
Adequate. Only a doctor
And
can
then
say
he
that.
then he actually laughed a little bit. You are the funny guy.
Yeah.
How come I'm a funny guy? No, we put an anesthetics to you, and you started to tell us the jokes. I don't remember that.
Actually,
how
shall I upset
inappropriate.
Rach?
God, we're all going to upset Rach.
We're going to upset Rach now. Right, you are going to go out into outer space, Rach.
Are you?
Oh, okay.
There I was sitting in a hospital before my first daughter was born. No computers, of course, and laptops at that time. And so I'm sitting there, and this midwife looks at me and she goes, "What the heck are you doing?" I said, "I'm making notes in me Filofax. What do you think I'm doing?" She said, "The baby will come when it's ready." I said, "No, it won't. It will come on the 8th of October.
Were you having a baby?
My ex-wife was.
Oh.
Yeah. So she said, "What do you mean the baby's going to be born on the 8th of October?" I said, "Well, of course the baby's going to be born on the 8th of October, because Friday I've got to do this, Saturday I've got to do that, and the Sunday afterwards I've got to do that. So the 8th will be perfect." And she went, "Absolutely, you can't do..." And there's this lovely Australian doctor. He was a gentleman to the core. He said, "Really, have you got to do all that lot?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You'll have the baby on the 8th. And she
There
was
you go.
furious.
I was lying in my hospital bed and I said, Doctor, I can't feel my legs. He says, "I know, cut your arms off."
Oh,
Oh, no.
well, I got to tell you, with all these hilarious hospital stories, my promise that I made was that I was just going to pop in and say hello, let you know I was living. Let you know I may possibly be dead next week. Who knows? But I will be back and I'll return and I'll let you know how I'll update you on Facebook as to my progress.
You will. And if you don't, I expect pictures of the nurses and doctors coupled
nurses and doctors.
with a selfie around your bed.
Yeah.
Of course, and that will happen. And and cool pictures of like medical stuff, like nothing they're going to take out of me, but
No, don't. No.
but
All the equipment, Rach.
the cannula in the hand and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Because I remember once when they were doing some tests, because they're terrible for tests here. Actually, no, they're very good about tests here because the medical system works on preventative medicine, not panic medicine like NHS and things like that. So I have to have one of these cameras going through me arteries up to have a look at my heart. And I said and they give you this injection. It's what's it called? It's like the baby one where you go all numb.
An aneurysm.
No, that's what you get when you have an heart attack, you nana.
Oh, right. An anal thing.
No, it's a different one. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
The one they do in the spine.
That's it. One of them.
Yeah.
Oh, like a spinal tap
No, that's
or a lumbar punch.
They were
lumbar.
very good. I like them.
One of them.
It begins with an A.
I don't know. Anyway, so I have one of them, and the doctor who's doing all the stuff, she moves the screen around, and I said, "What are you doing that for?" She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I want to have a look." She said, "You want to look?" So I said, "Yeah, it's really interesting." And as I'm obviously off my face with this, whatever it is, and can't feel anything. But I'm going, "Well, what's that bit then?" She goes, "Oh, that's that and that and that." I said, "Well, what's that bit there?" She said, "That's your heart." I said, "You mean to tell me I've got one?" And she laughed and said, "You're really enjoying this, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, because I love science. I want to see all the bits moving."
That's not science, that's medical.
Right.
But it is because of the science. She was then actually she took too long because she showed me all the different valves, how they were working, and I could see all the bits inside my body working.
Oh, lovely.
It was
So they
wonderful.
won't let me do that. They
No.
won't let me do that. I have to be asleep.
Aww.
Oh, right, yeah, it's
I
better
know.
if you are.
Aww.
Yeah, I guess. It's probably better if I am.
Oh, God, the jokes are getting worse.
Go on.
I went to the dentist. He said, "Your teeth are all
Yeah.
right, but your gums have got to come out."
I went to the dentist, the appointment was at 2:30.
Oh, no. Oh,
Look, on
God.
that lovely note, I got to say, it's been
All right,
lovely
Rach.
to catch up with you. It was lovely to talk to you. I feel like I haven't talked to you.
Hang
in
on,
ages.
Hugh's got the answer. Epidural.
That's the one, it doesn't begin with an A.
Epidural, that's the one.
You see?
Well done, Hugh.
Well done, Hugh.
All right,
Fond of
Rach, have
knowledge, that
a
man.
good time.
All right, Rach. Take care. God bless,
Take
darling.
care, you'll be
and
all
love
right.
to Robbie as well.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay, see you
Ciao.
guys. See you,
Bye.
everybody. Bye.
That was Rach.
Who was that then?
That was Rach.
Who's
I
Rach?
I remember me having an ultrasound exam, and the doctor lady, she was going with the ultrasound on my belly, and I
Did she have to leave a chalk mark where she left off?
so after a time I am asking her, "Please, doctor, can you tell me, but please be sincere, is it going to be girl or boy?"
No, Martina says I've got twins. But that's another story. I think we might do some news for a minute.
I've got news. I've got breaking news. This really is breaking news. True. Read about it in the Consumer Watch Foundation now. We've had an archive week, like everybody knows. We've been putting out old stories about people like Bridget Bardot. We've been telling the world what's going on. Peaky Blinders is back on the 25th of August. It is brilliant. Read about them in the Consumer Watch Foundation. But the breaking news is that the Garth Minster Hotel in Beverley, which we have been attacking for 2 years now, is finally up for sale. It is closing down. The world's worst hotel is closing down.
On to more serious things. And
Well, it's really serious.
No, this is very serious. Currently underway, there's a search and rescue operation just off the Kent coast, which you have to say very carefully. I remember a Radio 4 person getting that completely wrong. Apparently up to... The Coast Guard is saying up to 50 migrants have been spotted in boats off the coast. It's the close to Dover's Western Docks, which is actually where the MV Ross Revenge was kept for some while. And some of the people were actually in canoes. Flipping heck. The spokesperson for the Coast Guard told us that the agency is only concerned with life preservation, rescuing those in trouble and bringing them safely to shore. They will be handed over to the relevant partner emergency services or authorities, which is quite right. But to think that people have come across the channel in canoes is absolutely incredible.
That shows the desperation of these people.
It does a bit, but I would also add, having been there, that going to the Western Docks of Dover is not a very safe place to go.
No,
because
no,
the water rises and falls dramatically, and it's quite horrific. I forgot to say hello to Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Dave.
And to Brian. Dave. Paul Rustling, that is so bad. It's nearly funny. That was his joke, which I didn't read out because it was wrong. Tim Payne's there. Hello, Tim. So we wish the...
May I just interrupt? Paul Rustling is the one that told us about the Garth Minster Hotel closing down. Thank you, Paul. It is now on the site.
Yep, and with the Coast Guard, there'll be the RNLI out there as well. And don't forget, if you're around the coast this particular summer, anywhere in the UK, and you see somebody collecting money for the lifeboats, please give generously. They do an amazing job. And as the commercial says, it costs £1,000 to train one person to go on a lifeboat for the Royal National Lifeboat Institute, one of the rescue people. And they get nothing from government sources whatsoever. And that's not decrying the government. It's always been that way. That's how they've remained as a Royal National Lifeboat Institute. They're outside of governments of any type or money. So it's up to us lot to give generously to the RNLI when you have an opportunity to do so. When you do so. Yeah, this is for real. Yes, we also, everybody hopes for a successful rescue, Steve. Remind us how to donate. Steve, if you look up RNLI, you can go there. You can, if you're on the seaside on your holiday, just look out for the RNLI places. You'll find them all the way around on huge slipways with like a bungalow on the top, and they all have places where you can donate. You can often donate in the towns, but you can donate online as well. Just look up RNLI on Google, go to the website, lots of things. And actually they have some fundraising ideas on there as well, where you can get involved and raise some money for them, which is a really good thing. Really good thing. Henry Bellolo, who was one of the co-founders of the Village People, YMCA, is good. No, sorry. In the Navy.
Go West!
Keep going.
That's the only bit I know.
Yeah. He's died at the age of 82.
That really is the Village People bloke who's dead. I can't believe it. Can you believe the Village People?
They claim he was a pioneer of disco, which I probably would question a little bit. But I know. I can still remember, as my brother and I did at that time, having to videotape the YMCA song On Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
So we could rehearse the dance.
I just knew you would be able to do the YMCA dance.
Well, because we had a big disco. We would stand at the front of the stage and do the YMCA bit. Then we would do the Rick Astley one. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
That's what girls do.
Yeah. From the look of Lee, I can say that I think he meant that you are a sissy.
Thank you so much.
But I just interpreted his look. I don't think the same thing.
Do you know what? I could go anywhere and be abused. It's no problem. Sad news, which is slightly concerning. Country star Willie Nelson has cancelled the remaining dates of his current tour, citing health problems.
How old is he now?
86.
86. I saw him about 10 years ago, and he was making his comeback tour because he'd lost all his money to the tax man. And through various nefarious things that he was involved in. And what a performer. He's got a comeback. You can't go, Willie. Not like so many have done recently.
86 years old.
86, you know.
And he has been a bit poorly in the last few years anyway. But we wish you well, Willie. Lovely man. Lovely man. Absolutely. This story kind of bemuses me on one hand. And on the other hand, it's... It is kind of shocking. President Clinton's affair with White House intern Monica Lewinsky is going on the telly.
What do you mean it's going on the telly?
It's going to be dramatised on the TV.
Well, yeah, why shouldn't it be? It's one of those dramas. If you find out, you suck it and see if you like it.
I knew you would do that. I knew it. Oh dear. Your jokes had to go down there, didn't they? In a statement to Vanity Fair, Miss Lewinsky said she was a little bit hesitant and more than a little bit scared about being involved in the production of this TV show.
So how's she being? She's not appearing in it. What's she doing? She's being an advisor.
Yes.
What advice is she going to give? Stay clear of cigars.
I say no more. Just watch where you put yourself around a round table.
Maybe she will in charge of studio interns.
Aha! Boys or girls?
So it's an internal affair then.
Yeah, internal affair. Tim's reminded us also that the RNA don't have any overpaid people at the top, which is very true.
I think that's a really good point. Yeah,
Yeah, very true.
Make, yeah.
And of course, all the people that are there have full-time jobs and volunteer, which makes it even more important to support them. I don't know, Mitchell, if he was the one that wore the cowboy hat. I can't remember. Somebody will tell us in a minute. Where's Uncle Dave? He'll tell us. Jeremy Corbyn is demanding a kind of review of what can happen over Brexit. And I kind of get this.
In what way?
Did I just say that?
You did say that. Oh, no, that's why I was a bit surprised.
Well, what Mr Corbyn's done is there's a bit of a spat going on at the moment over whether Brexit can be concluded whilst there's a general election on. And what Mr Corbyn's done is he's written to the top civil servant, the Cabinet Secretary, that's Sir Mark Sedwill, as to whether or not the UK can just go out of the EU as planned whilst there's a general election going on, etc., etc. And do you know what? I think that's a very logical thing to do.
But he isn't logical, is it?
Of course it is. He's getting a definition as to whether it's constitutionally correct to do it. So he'll get an answer in writing, one way or the other. So it's a logical letter to write.
Oh, of course it's logical. There is logical. I'm not knocking that. What I was going to say is, why don't we leave this poor beleaguered country called the UK alone? Allow it. Now, we've had 3 years of hell. Everything is on the verge of collapse in the UK. I say the government has handled this really badly as far as Brexit is concerned, but it's also managed to keep the country afloat until recently. Give Britain a chance to breathe and let the people have what they want instead of trying to trip it up and keep this going on year after year after year. It is ludicrous. Grow up, Corbyn.
No,
It's not Mr. Mann.
It is. Mr. Mann says, wow, you agree with JC, are you stoned? No,
Should be.
I'm on blinking antibiotics. I haven't had a drink for 2 weeks, and I'm sulking dramatically. Anyway, due to the constitutional issues that may come up, the Queen may have to cut her summer break short and come back to London. God bless you, Your Majesty. Good on you. But it is very difficult. I really hope that the EU wakes up and smells the coffee, because if they don't, England will be the first of many. And seriously, you can argue as much as you like, but everybody is in agreement with me now. The surveys that have been done by the EU about themselves actually state that if they do not reform, people are saying the EU has a life expectancy of up to 20 years, and it'll collapse, it'll fold up. So,
and Britain will collapse a long time before that if we're not allowed. This is like being in employment and deciding to leave and then not being allowed to leave. So you can't get a new job, you can't get on with your life, you can't do anything. And that's what Britain is in the position of now. It's hampered doing anything. Leave Britain alone and let's get on with what the people wanted. I didn't vote to leave. I don't say that we should have left 4 years ago. But that's the situation we're in now. And idiots like Corbyn, who are still trying to trip up this process, are not doing it for the benefit of the country. They're doing it for their own political means.
I would agree with that, because he just wants to be PM.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. So anyway, we move along. You can find out more about the Royal National Lifeboat Institution at the website rnli.org, where you can also donate. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. So that's rnli.org, and you can donate there as well as finding out about all the work they do. And actually, I'll give you another tie that he won't like this one, boys and girls. The biggest sponsor of the inshore RNLI craft are actually the Freemasons.
Do they do it for free?
Yeah. Yeah. They buy the blow-up boats, the inflatables that they go on the Thames and all that.
Oh, those. Sorry, yes.
Numpty.
Well, you're just an inflatable. I was thinking about your girlfriend.
Anyway, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that joke. But the bottom line is, they actually pay for all the inshore craft, as in the inflatable boats that go up the Thames and places like that, not the big ones. And the RNLI do some amazing work. And if it wasn't for them, there'd be a lot of people not very well. Well, in fact, a lot of them have died. A British woman has died instantly after falling from a great height on the Greek island of Acheria. A coroner said she dropped, 20 metres down a ravine this week. Rescuers told the Greek state ERT-TV that she appears to have slipped and suffered fatal injuries while rock climbing. Commiserations to the family. We're being sensible again. Do be careful if you're in parts of the west of the UK. UK driving conditions will be hazardous with heavy rainstorms and thunderstorms. A Met Office spokesman has said storms from Bristol up through Wales and into Northern Ireland, they will transfer eastward over the next few hours, causing poor driving conditions in many areas. So drive carefully, because we want you back next Friday. That'd be good. Especially down in Devon, where young Chris is. Talking of the RNLI and help, a teenage girl has died after being pulled from the sea along with two relatives near Clacton Pier in Essex. The three youngsters were all in trouble in the sea. Unfortunately, one of them has passed away. So we share our commiserations with the family, as always. And the list just keeps going on with a kite surfer. He's died after crashing into the White Cliffs of Dover. On the cliffs on the coast of the Isle of Wight, opposite the White Cliffs of Dover. Man in his 50s at Compton Bay. Please be careful, guys, when you go out to the seaside. I know it's lovely and hot, and everybody wants to go, but just, think. I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. Think health and safety.
Well, the thing is, there you have it. The places.
Rewind.
If he hired this kite, which I have no idea, the places that hire them out should be well aware of health and safety, and these kind of things shouldn't happen.
No, I agree.
I don't know if he was doing it privately or not.
No, I think by the sound of it, he's done it many times. But there we go. Great fun this week in Abbey Road in London, as Beatles fans marked the iconic photo of the Fab Four walking across the zebra crossing at Abbey Road, and they brought the whole area to a standstill.
They did.
Which is upsetting for Mr. Banks.
Why?
He doesn't like the Beatles.
I don't like the Beatles. I think the Beatles are just rubbish. But anyway, I do have to refer you to the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com, which has a world exclusive, which has gone out again in Archive Week at the Consumer Watch Foundation, about a Beatles museum, which is being opened in a little town in Slovakia. The town, I can't remember its name. Fascinating place. Go and have a look. It's got all the archives of the
But not just the Beatles, it's the Stones and everybody, wouldn't it?
Well, it's mainly the Beatles.
Yeah,
because his name escapes, did all the iconic photographs of the Beatles. But he did photograph all the stars. I think he did Dylan, he did Richard Burton, he did all the people in the 60s who were really famous. And there is a museum to him and the Beatles opening in Slovakia. Go and see it. It's brilliant. Come over to Slovakia.
Absolutely. Steve was watching Pirate Radio Night from many years ago. That was on, what was it called? Something like the Red Channel or something.
Yeah.
I know the one you mean, but I don't remember the person, mate. Sorry. Hi, Stephen. How are you? Hi, all. Was the naughty mug business sorted out with the RNLA? A lady manager found some naughty mugs on board an RNLA craft, if you can remember. I remember that, mate. Yeah, it's so funny. By the way, it's windy in Kent. Make of that which you will. Ha ha. Have you been eating beans again, Mr. James? He has, hasn't he?
No, we just like, yeah, no, that was your joke. We blanked it. Like
You
blanked
just
mine.
blanked it. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much indeed. Anyway, fabulous to see the. I love those sort of things where normal fans, no yellow vest, none of that rubbish. They just go. There's so many of them. They bring a whole area of London to a standstill. I think that's just fab. Thousands of rail passengers also were stranded yesterday due to lines being blocked in and out of Euston Station. The severe disruption was caused by a fault with the signalling system. The man had forgotten his semaphore.
And don't forget about all the British Airways problems because of failures of technology and all.
Oh, I
the
know.
problems
It's
Ryanair going on strike and everything.
But not Ryanair, but the pilots.
The pilot. Well, yeah, sorry, yes, he's right, isn't he? The pilots, yeah.
Yes.
Ryanair.
It's not the trolley dollies.
No, it's not. No trolley dollies.
No, they're all working.
They're all men.
Yeah. Are you sure?
I've checked.
You're right.
No, but they're all going on strike, and then you got this problem with the train stations and everything. It's just hell for holidays yet again. Yet again, hell for holidays. Why does Britain collapse around holidays?
I agree, Steve.
What?
I agree, mate. You've been over to London again, haven't you?
No,
You have.
I have not.
You've been over to London trying to fix everything, and you broke it.
Well, I've actually been commissioned to go over and mend all the things next week, so I'm over there next week. Actually.
So you won't be here.
I'll be here. Oh no, I won't.
No, you won't.
Oh no.
Be me.
I've got all squeaky. Listen.
Yeah, haven't you? Oh.
And I'm maybe in Switzerland. I don't know yet, but it's possible.
Oh, for goodness sake! Talk about rats leaving the sinking ship.
Are you going to eat cakes there?
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, Swiss rolls and things like that.
No, it's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
What?
Well, because next Friday, the lovely Katie Wiltshire will be in the studio.
Oh, that's
Oh,
all right. I'll be
great.
at the other end of a telephone. I won't not be here.
Well, we haven't got a telephone in here. That's old technology.
Well, I'll mend it while I'm there.
Yeah, right. Yes, so my co-host next week will be the ever-delightful Katie Wiltshire.
Oh, that is so sad. I'll miss her.
I know.
Oh,
That's a bit of a shame, but there you go. Hi to Emily.
that's Katie with a Y-I-E.
Kaytie.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, with a Y, not an... Oh, never mind.
Hi to Emily.
Hi to Emily. Yes, hello, Emily. Are you going to say hello to Emily?
Emily?
Yes.
Hello, Emily.
You're looking bemused.
No, Emily, I think I know exactly who it is. And,
Yeah, you've been coaching. You've been coaching.
Yes, don't forget our agreement, Emily. And, she's going to be doing some writing for the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com. Have I mentioned the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com
Yes.
this week?
Not that many times today.
Rachel was the first one to mention it because you were slow.
Yeah, well, Emily's going to be writing for the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com
Very good.
about Poprad,
Nice.
the youth side of Poprad.
Nice.
And things like that. Brilliant.
Absolutely. We like that idea.
But you have to actually write it, Emily, and send it in.
Yeah. Oh, so if the rats are leaving the sinking ship, you have to find someone who can impersonate Roland. Very good. That's a very English joke, Steve. Won't make
Can
any
you do
sense.
Roland? I can't remember how Roland the rat went.
Hey,
That was really good.
girly. Roland Rat. It always reminded me of Blakey on the buses.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey. And when he laughed, this is an old TV series from the 1960s, and Blakey would laugh going, hey, funny.
You can do Roland Rat. I'll do thingy. I can fly. Who can you do?
No.
Yes,
no.
He's got to do one.
I can fly.
Ely.
I can fly.
Oh,
that
God.
was me.
I don't know what to do.
Right, back to serious stuff. We haven't got much time left. Oh, my word. A murder investigation has begun after a 20-year man was shot dead in Birmingham. Police have said this was in Goosemore Lane in Erdington last week. The reason I mention this is that the police are asking anyone for information to contact the police via live chat at West Midlands Police UK. It's west-midlands.police.uk, or you can call 101 at any time, quoting number 2253. 2253 is the log number. So call 101 if you're not quite sure about the website. Probably just quicker to pick up your mobile anyway, and just give them a call. If you know anything about it, if you know the person, please call, because knife attacks have got to stop. Talking of which, we had this idiot with a machete, a gentleman called Mohammed Rodwan. He's from Luton. And he's been charged with possessing an offensive weapon and I think attempted murder now as well, as the unnamed police officer, for obvious reasons, his family are with him. He actually cut him right across the head with a machete.
Yeah,
the man's a complete idiot.
But the officer was brave enough and aware enough to taser him and stop him.
Yeah, Kevin, that's the one.
Kevin
and Roland Rat. Kevin, thanks, Tim. Yeah, it was Kevin. A convenience store chain in Japan has had to close down one of its shops. Why? Because a video went viral of rats running around in the shop. Thank you, Internet. You saved everybody's life again. Did you see it?
No, not seen it, no.
They were huge.
Well, rats are in
but
Spain.
5 million people have watched this video on social media, and it's forced the people to shut them down.
Well, it's a good thing. That actually is how the internet can do good things. It doesn't do many good things.
Here we go.
No, but really, it can actually expose things like this and actually make changes that are worthwhile. If a place has got rats in it, why can it be allowed to continue in business?
I don't know, Kevin.
I bet they can't fly.
No, they can't. Something that was attempted to fly was a man who threw a fridge down a hill in Spain, only to have to haul it back up. He got his comeuppance, as he was ordered by officials.
Got his down-uppance.
Got his down-uppance. To collect the fridge, take it back up the big hill, fined £45,000.
That's
Whoa!
amazing. That's
Expensive fridge.
Yeah, and his actions were actually recorded on video, and they were shown to officials. He was nicked, and the environmental agency Seprona in Spain, they just said, "You're nicked," and the firm that was storing all these things that he was dumping them for were also fined.
Well, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. See, the local councils in Britain should be fined for dumping stuff. Yeah, we all have to sort it out into different file and it's called like whatever that thing's called, being green, and then the councils go and dump it all in tips. Well, yeah.
Or you're trying to remember the story of whales and caves.
No, I'm not trying to remember the story.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was prompting you. That's all.
If you read the Consumer Watch Foundation, you will see the story about the facts that we are all putting plastic in plastic bottles, but paper in paper. We're doing all this for the councils. The councils chuck it in the back of a rubbish truck, mix it all up, and then dump it. Why are we being forced to do this with facing fines for it, and the council gets away with it?
Absolutely.
Do the councils like they did that
No,
bloke.
because you know what'll happen?
What?
It's the same as the stupid situation in Cardiff at the moment. Cardiff has been fined £2 million by a government agency in the UK for not getting their paperwork right.
Yeah.
So basically, you've got taxpayers' money going into Cardiff that's already had tax paid on it, right? Yeah. And another government agency is fining Cardiff and taking the money away again.
Yeah.
So it's getting taxed twice, kind of.
And they'll put up the council tax to pay for it.
Absolutely.
And while we're
ridiculous.
talking about it, let's point out those cars that are dumped inside a mountain in Wales. Why is nobody fining Gwynedd Council over that? Why aren't Gwynedd Council being taken to task over that? Those cars have been dumped in a mountain for 30 years and everybody pretends they don't know about it. Well, we know about it and we're telling the world, why aren't they being fined?
Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder, Steve. We were going to do that at the end of the show, but I'll do it now, just to annoy you, Mr. Banks. Remember, next week, on Wednesday of next week, it's August the 14th. Why is that important? Because that's the day the Marine Offences Act came into being in the UK, and the UK became a communist state, a socialist state. And the boss at the time was Harold Wilson.
Who tried to bomb the pirates.
Who apparently is an inspiration to Mr. Corbyn.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Bomb
anyway,
the pirates.
we will be doing some stuff here next week.
I wanted to be here, but I can't.
No, you can't. No, you're not here. So you're absolutely right, Steve. One of the greatest radio stations the UK ever had in the 60s was Radio London, or Big L, and later on surpassed slightly because of the music, I guess, Laser 558. And we should all remember those and not forget that. Not forget, as a lot of people in Slovakia didn't know because they weren't allowed to know, us kids at that time did not have the freedom of choice to listen to what we wanted to. We were forced to listen to the state-controlled BBC because they didn't want the youth to have some fun.
I think that's a very good point, and like we said recently, just remember they were also getting rid of our rock stars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they are rock stars. That's why the 27 Club's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't forget, to put it into perspective, and it wasn't just the people working there, it was you and me, citizens. They made it illegal to listen.
Yeah.
So you could have actually gone to prison for listening to a Beatles record on the radio.
You should go to prison for listening to
I knew that was coming. But anyway, Stephen will be raising a glass at 3 p.m. to Big L.
Steve.
Good on you, mate. I will be doing the same thing, well, metaphorically. Did Big L stay in the air? No. Radio Caroline was the one that stayed on, Steve, and still going now, actually. Not the same sort of service. In fact, very, very different. But it has continued throughout the years. And somebody earlier in the week, Stephen, reminded me, I think it was Tony Kirk, actually, who was a presenter on Radio Caroline, although it may not have been, I don't know. Anyway, somebody reminded me about one of the anniversary books that came out about Radio Caroline, and in the centre spread, it's got the centre page just says, "Those who have served," across the middle of the book, and there's yours truly in there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a waiter.
Yes. Poor kid in India has had to have an operation. Doctors removed this huge swelling on the right side of his lower jaw. When they broke it open, they found out it had got more than 500 teeth in his mouth.
I know.
That's horrific, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they were big ones, little ones, all over the place. But he's been complaining for years about this problem. And actually, they counted him. It's 526 teeth this poor kid had got in his mouth.
Human shark.
Well, yeah, actually, sharks. How many teeth do sharks have? They have a lot of teeth.
I don't know.
Let's tell the world about the way the moon has been populated by Earth.
What, the pig?
Yeah. No, it's not a pig.
What is it?
It's a bear. It's
a bear in the air.
Bear.
It's a bear in the air.
Israel have sent a rocket to the moon full of microscopic little animal life, and they've crashed it. And now Earth has populated the moon by accident. Now, what's going to happen there?
Hang on, Mr. Russley, I'm going to have an argument now.
Oh, go on, then.
Mr. Russley says, "Wash your mouth out, Wiltshire. Harold Wilson and many of his cronies were against the people and for the state." Well, that's what I was saying.
That's what he was saying, Mr. Rustling.
Yes.
Yes. Don't understand, Mr. Rustling.
Yes.
Have you been to that big pub that we both went?
Yeah. No, actually, I'll rephrase that. Harold Wilson was only interested in Harold Wilson.
And his secretary.
This is very true. Judita's there. Hello.
Bit late.
Yes. Tim says, ideal time to make a donation as next week is the remembrance of the Marine Offences Act. So I give to the RNLI because they did so much work for, I can't call them pirate radio stations.
That's
my
your phone.
Uh-oh.
Naughty phone.
Yes.
Oh, we'll have to talk over it.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll just shut the door. Anyway, the Nationwide has been ordered to refund 32,000 personal account current holders for failing to inform them about overdraft charges. This is the Competition and Markets Authority. They said the lender was wrong and they have to give the money back, which is fab. I love this story. And I don't know whether I drink it or not. Apparently, a group of scientists have brewed a radioactivity-free vodka using crops from the abandoned Chernobyl site where the nuclear explosion took place. And this is the University of Bristol. The idea behind it is really good because it is a proper rye grain whiskey. They've called it Atomic, ATOMIK.
Which I think is very, very bad. I think that is in really bad taste.
No, I think it's in great taste because 75% of the profits are going towards wildlife conservation and supporting the communities affected in the area.
Then I rescind my statement.
Thank you. You see, you didn't read the script, did you? What are you doing, boys and girls?
I sent you the story. I just didn't read the story. Let me just tell you about atomic alcohol.
Oh, hang on, Stephen says Marcia and his pipe. Oh,
exactly,
very droll.
yeah,
very droll,
good,
Stephen.
yeah.
Very droll.
I wonder if she smoked his pipe.
And thanks for coming to one of our fans on you now, Jack. Much appreciated.
Let me just tell you
What?
that in Poprad you can have this. I did, and I will never do it again. I went to a bar. It's a bar that mixes only spirits, right? You can have cocktails with spirits.
The one we went the last time.
Yeah, no, another one. And it just mixes spirits. Anyway, as a joke, I said, can you make me a beer cocktail? Because I like beer. And they came back. I drank it. It was beautiful. It was absolutely... But it was 82% proof. Honestly. I was a bit rough on Sunday.
I bet you were.
No, drinking 10 of them's no good for you.
So yes, the socialist man with the pipe was Harold Wilson.
Yep.
We've answered that one's been answered. Norwich Cathedral have come up with a novel idea. We mentioned this last week with another cathedral in the UK. They've actually put a helter-skelter in the cathedral to raise money to restore the cathedral. No, because the kids all come in.
I know.
Churches should be for people.
Churches are for people, but I agree. I don't know if that is... I don't know. I'm just pondering. Is that a sacrilegious act in a way?
No.
Or not? See, helter-skelter, think of the traditional meaning of what a helter-skelter is. It actually is the descent into hell. That's why it's called the helter-skelter.
Yeah.
And to actually impose that on a church, on a Christian... entity.
Well, it's in the nave of the church, and the
nave. What does the nave mean as well? You see, like arts.
The very Reverend Jane Hedges, Dean of Norwich Cathedral, said the installation was certainly not a gimmick. It was, and she's quite right. It's a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser, but is the principle behind it? Could she not have raised funds in a different way?
No, because it gets kids in the church as well. It's a good thing.
I can see the point. I just think there are other ways of doing it.
This is one for Lee, although his hair is not Slavic. It's common knowledge that the Slavic hair is considered to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look at it, he's got slaver on his hair.
It's valued for its soft, silky structure.
Let's have a feel.
Natural luster and suppleness.
Don't touch me.
And in Manchester,
Yes.
as I try and drag it back to you, apparently, if you have a hair extension made with Slavic hair in Manchester, the 12-inch version, £245.
That's not bad for a 12-incher.
Well, no, but it gets worse. By the time you get a 22-incher, it's £476
Good Lord.
above. We haven't got time to tell you about the Airbnb council tenant who's been evicted and fined £100,000 by Westminster City Council for letting his flat out.
That's an interesting story, actually.
Yeah, it is actually quite interesting. CJ Demore has been. They've got a European arrest warrant out for him after he wrote in his autobiography about how he might have killed someone. Well, you stupid boy! Oh, fancy doing that. Bristol.
Who was that? Name him again.
What?
The name. What was the name he used then?
CJ.
CJ who?
CJ Demore.
Demoy.
He was on Eggheads.
That's the one. That's him. Yeah. But that is a really bizarre thing because he's been bragging about he might have killed somebody for 3 years now. That's what surprised me about the story.
Absolutely. We want to wish all the very best, as we've got a minute left, to Bristol Community Radio Station, BCFM. I'm not known to be a terribly good fan of community stations, but when a lot of these guys do work for nothing, the whole studio was wrecked due to a fire. They're trying to keep on air in temporary accommodation at the moment. So good on you for keeping going. And Tony Johnson was apparently on air. I know the feeling, Tony. When that fire alarm goes off, it's a bit unnerving. But there you go. Time for Sooty to say goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, nice weekend.
Who was that?
That was Stefan. It was just Stefan. No, I'm not going to do any more Basil brushes or anything. Boom, boom. So it leaves me to say thank you very much to everybody that's contributed. If I didn't get to your message, I apologise profusely, but we do struggle sometimes to get through all of them. Thank you to Hugh for inviting his entire family again.
Yeah, good on you.
You, and for being my medical correspondent of the week. Getting it all right. That was Postcard from Poprad on Radio Tatras International. We'll be back very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
The Station of the Stars. RTI.